My name is Doug Feldner. I am a solutions marketing manager at Elsevier. So my life revolves around Scopus and Scopus AI. So we're going to do 20 years of innovation, 20 years and 20 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about the past, sort of about where we've gone with Scopus. And then we're really going to talk about the latest innovation, which is Scopus AI and some of the new features we've added recently to the product. Okay, so let's start off and we'll get your brains going. Non-Elsevier people, does anybody know how Scopus was named? Where the name came from? I didn't know it was my product until we came to the 20th anniversary. So, yes, the Scopus was actually named for a bird. You knew that? Some people know it out there. So, Scopus polypita, because the bird navigates. And when they were putting the product together, 20 years and 9 days ago, when we launched it, it was about navigating data. And if you think about where we were in 2004, data was scary. So how are we going to create something that looks like this, that lets us navigate huge amounts of research data? And I love it because when we talk about huge amounts now, I'll show you how far we've come in the amount of data we actually process. So, and many of you guys who might have been here early, this is what Scopus looked like on that day, 20 years ago. Before I go anywhere, I'm going to talk a lot about what we've done with Scopus. But Scopus would not exist without the librarian community. So there were those of you who adopted it and gave it a shot. You guys also worked to actually help develop it. Those of you who work on campus to teach Scopus, any Scopus certified librarians, anybody? If you're not, we have a really great program for that. And you actually give us the feedback. We've evolved the product a great deal in 20 years. But thank you, because without the librarian community, this product does not exist in 20 years. So thank you. Okay, so where have we come in 20 years? I'm going to talk about content. I'll talk a little bit about the evolution. I'm going to talk about this because it is relevant to what's happening in AI today. So if you take a look at the numbers, just the amount of content we had, 27 million records to 97.8. And by the way, that number is already old because every day it's growing. We'll be hitting 100 million soon. Okay. Some of that was organic. We're going to grow data because research is being output. But it's the type of data and content we put in there. So it was originally journals. We added the books. We added the conferences, preprints. Okay. You'll see during innovation, it let us do really great profiles because the author profiles and the organization profiles give context. So it's not just data. The data starts getting pulled together. Then when you throw other things in there like SDGs, funding information, open access tags, we're giving context to the data. So it's not just that you can look it up, it's that you can learn from it. And that really has been the power of Scopus. Not just that it's bigger, but if we look at some of the evolutions, it's not, it's better. So these are some, this honestly could have been 8 slides. I just picked out some of the highlights because every year we're making changes, we're evolving it. We're talking to customers, researchers, librarians, and we're trying to see how we can make the product work for you better. So one of the big things was content selection advisory. We have an independent board that curates our content. Okay, they volunteer to work for us. They do get a stipend, so full disclosure. But they get together twice a year and they say, look, is this a good journal? This is a bad journal. And these days with predatory journals, they have quite a job. We work really hard to keep the content good. We talk about the identifiers. So going with the affiliation, the organization identifier, if any of you have used the author profile wizard or the organization profile wizard, you know that we do the best we can in getting the data from 7,000 plus sources into our system, but you can correct it. So we're always trying to make that better. And that's where the org profiles come in. Integration with ORCID, site split, free for researchers, so they can use that to figure out where they want to publish. It's really good for publishing strategies. That's free. That comes out, and that's part of the metrics we have there in Scopus as well. Preprints, And then we did start using actually machine learning several years before AI was coming around. We actually take all that content from all those publishers and sources, and we use algorithms and have been using algorithms to get it into the database clean. Almost 100 million records is hard to get clean, and we do it at about 90%, 98% accuracy rate. So it's really a powerful database. And we'll talk a little bit about, SDGs are in there, but we'll talk a little bit about AI. We had our beta of AI out last summer of 23, and we introduced our AI to January of 2024. So you can see in 20 years, we really have not only made it bigger, made the content better, we've connected it. We've given it context, and those of you who use Scopus, you can see the data and the content in so many different ways and so many different use cases. As a marketer, my challenge is, how do you sell a Swiss Army knife? Because some people use it as a toothpick, some people use it as a saw, some people use it as a knife. There's so many different ways you can use Scopus. I've even mentioned APIs where you can take the data out and use it in other systems. So that brings us to today, our latest innovations. So how many of you guys sometimes hear AI and you sort of cringe a little bit? You've heard AI a lot this year. So, and we have too. We've been marketing it a great deal this year. Just as a heads up, we really have tried taking an educational approach. So if any of you guys have visited any of our webinars, we really have with Scopus AI been trying to show you how it works, explain what it does, how it handles hallucinations, etc. So on that note, we do have several of those sessions here. So if you haven't had a chance, come see. We do have a luncheon coming up on Thursday, which will be both the Scopus and Science Direct teams talking about their AI. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, please sign up for it. We also have a great open access luncheon tomorrow.
Tonight.
What?
Tonight.
Tonight, I'm sorry. So, but we are trying to educate you guys, especially on the AI stuff. So please, the list is up here, so take a look. So, what is Scopus AI? It is a tool. It is a starting point for researchers, especially when they're looking at topics that they don't know. So, formally, it's an intuitive and intelligent search tool. So it's about search and discovery. It's a little bit more now too. All based on that great Scopus content. So one of the things that is great about it is we control the data. When you're working with a ChatGPT or other AIs where they're going out and grabbing data from all over the place, yeah, you've got some issues that sometimes pop up. Our hallucinations are low and our bias, because we really try to get bias out of our data, is better. Not perfect, but we do try addressing that with the product as well as with human intervention there as well. We built it with the community, and we've worked with a lot of schools and a lot of librarians in putting it together and bringing it to market in January 2024. So you can find references. You can get familiar with a new topic. It's really great for students, early career, mid-career researchers, or if you're doing multidiscipline research. You're going to work in an area you're not so sure about, and you can ask, basically a natural query question about that. You can go really deep into a research topic. It's a starting point. It gives you a map on where to go with your research, and we'll look at some of the features there. Better articulating a hypothesis, collaborating with others, because it does draw on our profiles. It does tell you who are the experts in the topics you're looking at. And we'll talk about identify your new research area, because that is a brand new feature we just added to it. So these are some of the things people are saying about it. Our satisfaction rate is about 80–85% right now. We're getting really good reviews from them, and we've had a lot of customers bringing this on board. To start with, it is an additional subscription. So if you have Scopus, it is an additional subscription. So if you're not seeing it, that is the reason why. But again, if you're a researcher, don't start with Google. Start with a database based on research. Okay, it's working with how they work. And these are what people are saying about Scopus AI. By the way, if any of you guys are using Scopus AI and have feedback, please, I'll give them my email address at the end of the presentation. We want to know what's happening with it. We want to know how you're using it. We want to know if it's working for you or not, so we can make it better. So you enter a natural language query. So cross-topic ones are fun. My son happens to have epilepsy, and he was thinking of taking, he has ADHD and epilepsy, and he was he decided he wanted to take ADHD medication. So one of my favorite queries is, how does ADHD medication affect epilepsy? It's a good cross-topic one. There are some samples there when you get in there, but it is natural language. Especially for young researchers, they're used to natural language, not Boolean. We still use Boolean, I'll show that. So it gives you a summary and an expanding summary. So it really goes deep. By the way, there's a confidence level here. It will tell you, hey, there's not a lot of data here. So this is what I found, or in some cases, there's a high confidence level if there's a lot of data there. It will give you the references. And Copilot I'll talk about. That's one of our new features. So I'm going to skip over Copilot for a second. Okay. Gives you a concept map. So you're going to a new topic. What topics branch off from that? Where can your thinking go? Where can your mind go in terms of the topic that you're exploring right now? It gives you the experts so you can find out who the top researchers in that field are. Maybe you want to collaborate, maybe you want to go deeper on their content. Gives you the documents, and go deeper. It'll actually say, hey, this is an interesting question on this topic. So if you're a researcher, think about it, you're sitting in your office and you're trying to go into a new topic. It really does sort of spur your thinking. It spurs your creativity by pointing you, by giving you that map of what you want to look at. And we will talk about emerging themes. That's the latest and greatest feature we just added. What it isn't is not a replacement for Scopus. Most researchers use this, they get on their journey, but they still have to go research. You still have to pull the documents down and go deep. So, but in terms of a starting point, we've been getting amazing, I don't have the numbers now, we've just run the survey. I think it was 30 to 60 people were saying they're saving like 50% of their time in research. And that's where the value is. Get the research done, and then you can do your thinking and your level. So one of the nice things about it is, we introduced it in January. We're still evolving. We're still listening to the community on how we can make it better. Which brings us to, introduced in August to Copilot. First of all, it has nothing to do with Microsoft Copilot. That's the first question anybody asked. Okay, a Copilot really has become more of a generic term, so it is a Copilot. But feedback from the community said, look, I'm doing searches here. And I think we can get better results, and our tech team said, yeah, we can. So what it's doing is, it's doing a vector search, which is how AI works, and a Boolean search. It could be and, it could be or, but the AI is taking a look and seeing which one works better. Part of this, it'll actually correct spelling. So if you spell something wrong in there, it will actually correct it. It'll break down the queries. It supports multiple languages, which is fantastic for non-English speakers who may be studying here in the US. You can put a query in another language, and it will actually take that and translate the query. Longer tests, and it considers more results. But one of the best things about it is the transparency, because it tells you what it's searching on. It tells you what terms it's searching, and it gives you the keywords. So you're getting the best of AI, which is that vector search. You're getting the best of a Boolean search, of a keyword search, but we're transparently telling you what we're doing. One of the things we've been trying to do, because there is a fear of AI out there for sure, of how, the man behind the mirror, the Wizard of Oz, how's it working? We've been trying this year to show you and be honest with you how it is working, how Reg Fusion works, how the vector works. Here we're telling you the search that you are performing, and we're giving you the details of it. This has been received phenomenally well in the community. So that was introduced in August. Now again, we could have sat there and said, look, we had the first AI search tool out there, but we didn't. Our team keeps pushing the upload. Trust me, I'm in marketing. I have to keep redoing the collateral. So, but we will keep pushing the limit, which brings us to our next topic, which is emerging themes. So we can see how you use AI, Scopus AI, and you do a search. And it helps you really on your way to search. If you know your topic, that's great. What if you're emerging, a young researcher, early, maybe mid-level, and you're going to do your research and you're like, I don't know where I can go with this. I want to do something different. I want to make a name for myself. Well, we actually spoke to our users. We've been really having great feedback. 75% of researchers said they need to identify new research areas in a given month. 50% of them say they do it multiple times. And 30% of them said it is so hard to do. Because you're looking for the holes. How do you find a hole? It's easy to see a wall. It's hard to find, something that's missing. So that's where this comes out. It's a logical search. It focuses on the last 24 months of research. And it looks for themes that are underserved. So when you do it, it's another tab that's in there. We just released this as beta a few weeks ago, so it is available to all users out there. We're still evolving it because AI is still evolving. So what it'll do is it will actually give you areas to consider. So the other way is like, this is where all the research is. Go take a look here. This is where the research may not be. And this is an area you may want to dive into. This is more interesting. And by the way, sometimes unique research gets funded a little bit better. So we're helping the researchers out. This is all about helping the researchers out. So when you take a look at it, it will give you, that box is not there. You will get listed as a consistent theme. So that's a theme that they're seeing fairly common. It will give you whether it is a rising theme. You're seeing more research on that specific topic within your query, or a novel theme. This is an area where there's not a lot of research being done. It gives you an hypothesis. You can then click on that hypothesis and it will give you more information on it. So it's another way to help researchers. Okay, so that is it on terms of what is new. Let's see, hold on a second. Oh, there's my box. No animation. So we want to continue educating you on Scopus AI. So we do have a webinar next week. We're continuing our webinar series. Young Han from Carnegie Mellon actually is going to present how he, within his library, is teaching AI, how he's teaching prompt engineering. So this would be really interesting because they happen to use Scopus AI, but he's not going to focus on it. By the way, you're going to get a really in-depth emerging themes presentation by Adrian, who's actually our lead on the product. So take a look. We want to keep educating you. Some other things to consider, because I know AI is definitely on your plates, is some of these we have paper copies of here, if you're interested in. If you're not, the AI Attitudes is really a good research overview we've done to see really where people's mind are there. Pam V2, if you didn't wear in the session this morning, my colleague, we've developed a Gen literacy program. We have the foundation and the next one. What is the second? Anybody here know what the second? What is it?
Benefits and risks.
Benefits and risk, and then we have a third module coming out. This is not our products. This is a Gen AI program out of the Library Connect team. So good for you to learn a lot of the basics. And then we do have selecting the right Gen AI tool for your institution. And lastly, if you have any feedback, please reach out to me. Our product may be contacting you, but we really want to know how Scopus AI is working for you, how you're using it, how in this crazy trying to integrate this into the research workflow, how you're handling it. And lastly, Scopus blog, we put out articles weekly, so you'll get to learn Scopus, what's happening in it, and also the Scopus product page, we're updating that. So just some other resources for you, but so that is sort of it's a small world journey of 20 years of innovation. And thank you though, because again, Scopus exists with your support, and we do appreciate that.